Okay, hi. Okay, I made a small diagram so that I can explain the setup easily. We also discussed this previously, but I thought the diagram might help to make it more clear for you. So basically, how the setup works on the back end is we have currently four cron jobs. So let's look at this section first, right? I'm just gonna mark it with the red. Okay. So the first, okay, so there are currently like four clones of setup. The first one is bookie scraper. So this cron job runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and then it's hard coded to like the scraper is hard coded. This is because normally, according to Oliver, we don't want to we would never do bets before 10 a.m. or after 10 or 6 p.m. because before 10 a.m. like the data does not get finalized on the bookie basing website, and then after 6 p.m. like there aren't any good bets. So like we never do bets before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m. So the scraper part is hard coded. So what the scraper does is every time the scraper it runs, it pulls the data from bookie basing website, right? And then it saves the data in a JSON file in whatever server it is. So like we have two servers, right? So on both of the servers, the scripper runs like every minute, and then locally they both save the data as a JSON file. And then the second scripper that we want to talk about is the boost scraper. So this one is also very similar to the bookie scraper. In fact, it pulls the data from the same website, but it pulls the data from different section. So there is another section called boost section. So okay, currently I don't have it open. Let's So what it does is it pulls the data from the boost section. Let me try to find it. I think it should be on the first page. Yeah, okay, this is not it. Let me check if the recording is on. Yeah, it is. Okay, I think it's in this section. Oh yeah, okay. So the what the boost scripter does it pulls the data from this section, right? So for this, yeah, okay, for this it pulls this data and then saves it in a different JSON file locally. So it's kind of similar to the bookie scraper. The bookie scraper it pulls the data from the bookie basing for horses, whereas this pulls the data for boost and then saves it as JSON. So this data is used by another bot. We have another like boost automating bot. So that is only used for one particular website, but we are not doing it currently. So this is not being used currently, but like it does the same thing as bookie scraper, scrapes the data and then saves it as JSON, which can be later used by the bots when they do the automation. So the okay, so the probably the one that is important. Okay, the first one, the scripper is also important, right? So the okay, the other next important one is the runner or scheduler cron job. This cron job runs like 27, like 24/7, like it runs all day, and then it runs every minute. So what this does is it checks the database, right? It checks the SQL database and then finds the accounts which are turned on, right? So the account must be turned on, and also the website must be turned on. So, for example, let's see. Okay, okay, let's say okay. So for let's say okay, there are no accounts over here. Okay, let's try again. But okay, so okay, okay, let's say for Genting bot, like I just turned on the status for one account, right? I turn status for this account. So the runner bot, what it does is it checks first, it checks the global settings, right? So it checks like if the script should run 24/7 or not. So let's say this status is turned on, then it won't check anything else. It will just start running. It will just start looking into the accounts. Let's say by default, normally this is always turned off because we don't want to do bets after 6 p.m. or before 10 a.m. So if this is turned off, it looks at like start time and then stop time. So if let's say Oliver change the start time to something like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., or maybe if the stop time is 3 p.m., then the bot won't run the automation. So what the runner bot does is it reads the time, and then if the time, like let's say if the current time is between these two time, then it will start doing automation. So when it starts doing automation, it will read all the websites, right, and then check the status of the website. So in case, let's say for bet victor, the status of the website itself is turned off. So I think it does not look into the accounts for these websites. So for bet victor, so that like if the status is turned off outside, like all the accounts inside it will be ignored. And that's pretty much what it does. So like this status also needs to be turned on along with the status inside. So I'm sorry. Okay, so that's all about the runner bot. So there is also another one, like the one that prepares the report at the end of every day. So at around 9:30, I think it's okay, it's 9 p.m. So around 9 p.m. every day, there is this collect log script that starts automation, like running logs collection automation for all the accounts that have status turned on. So what it does is it logs into the websites individually, checks their balance, and then also checks like what the number of bets it did the same day. So it will calculate the profit that it generated, and then also prepare a Excel report at the end, and then mails it to Oliver. Like the Excel report is emailed to Oliver. We'll also like check all the script individually later, but what this does is it prepares an report and then sends to Oliver. Also for each account, it generates a separate email. So let's say there are 100 accounts, and in 100 accounts, like Oliver has put emails of like two people, for example. Um, Okay, let's see. So let's say like bet 365 has 10 accounts, right? So the scraper runs automate like checks the reports for all of the accounts, and so whoever email is listed over here, it will send them the details. For example, like what was the profit generated today, or if it was loss, and then how many bets were done. So and what horses. So okay, I don't think it tells them horses. Yeah, it tells them like what amount was won, and then like what amount was bet, so profit loss and all those stuff. So it will email them. And yeah, okay, so that's pretty much it for the um, cron jobs. Like, so there are four cron jobs from on both servers. We also on the previous video, I think we discussed about okay, we discussed about the cron jobs, right? Other thing, I'll just repeat, like we already talked about this. For like knowing, understanding the environment variable, we are like directly hard coding it in the cron job. So here we set the environment variable as production. So the script will use all the settings of production, and then this allowed website is used by runner bot. So it checks like the IDs of the website, and then it will only run automation for those websites. So we are using this so that like we can differentiate, we can allocate like which website should run on which server. So this is the first server. On the second server, so there should be like 6, 9, 10, and all the other websites that are not running on this server. Apart from that, so the general structure of how this happens is this scraper, right? Every day it runs from 10 to 6 p.m. and then it saves data at JSON. And then okay, so that's what the scraper does, right? It pulls the data, saves it as JSON, and keeps repeating itself. And then the yeah, okay, so oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, this should be over here, right? So that was a mistake. So the runner bot, it runs 24/7 every day, right? It reads the global settings and then decides if the account should be run or not. So in case if the account should run, it will send the request to the Flask API. So this API receives the username and then the website ID. So when it receives the username and website ID, it checks like if the account is already running, right? So because the runner bot runs really frequently, so it runs every minute. So normally for automation, it takes 2 to 3 or sometimes longer for the automation to run. So in that case, we don't want to run these like we don't want to be running the same accounts over and over again like parallelly. So for that, it checks like if the account is already running. So if the account is already running, it says okay, the account is already running, I won't run it now. And in case like the account is not running, it will start the automation and then start the automation script. So that's basically the workflow. Mm, Let me check if I missed something for this video. Okay, yeah, okay, I think that's pretty much it. We already talked about Docker. So Docker is not being used currently, but like later we'll also discuss about how it is implemented, so that in case you want to resume it, it will be easier. I think that's pretty much it for the video. Please let me know if you have any questions.